Good evening. You're watching the news tonight, your daily roundup of all that has happened across India and the world with me, Ishan Russell. The news tonight is all about the day's top stories, and one of the big stories that happened today was, of course, Prime Minister Narendra Modi talking about secularism, assuring the Christian community that all action will be taken as far as the incidents in Delhi are concerned. But what necessitated the Prime Minister's statement? We'll be talking about that with a special guest, Mr. Vinod Sharma. He'll be joining us a little later in the show, but first, the headlines we're tracking right now. Prime Minister Modi assures strong action against attacks on any religious group, his first such message in the backdrop of repeat attacks on Christian institutions in the capital. Flurry of preventive measures announced against swine flu across the country after a sharp rise in casualty figures. 100 fresh H1N1 deaths reported since Saturday. Hopes of an end to the political stalemate in Jammu and Kashmir. The BJP and the PDP make progress on resolution of sticking points. Both seek consensus on an 11-point common minimum program. The ceasefire between Ukraine and Russian rebels on shaky ground as both sides refuse to pull out heavy arms as mandated by the Minsk agreement. Shelling continues in border areas. And at the ICC World Cup, New Zealand survives a minor scare to record their second win of the tournament, beats Scotland by 3 wickets. Our top story this evening, Prime Minister Narendra Modi today reached out to the Christian community, the first time since repeated attacks of vandalism in Christian establishments in the national capital. Modi promised strong action against the culprits and complete rejection of intolerance by any group against any minority.
The Prime Minister breaks what was interpreted as a disturbing silence while sending out a strong message to anti-secular elements.
We cannot accept violence against any religion on any pretext, and I strongly condemn such violence. My government will act strongly in this regard.
The occasion was a function held by the Syro Malabar Church to celebrate the beatification of 2 Christian saints. Modi quoted Swami Vivekananda, the spirit of India's independence struggle and secular ideals, while appealing to all groups to act with tolerance, as he stressed that development alone was his government's objective.
My government will ensure that there is complete freedom of faith and that everyone has the undeniable right to retain or adopt the religion of his or her choice without coercion. My government will not allow any religious group belonging to the majority or the minority to incite hatred against others overtly or covertly.
After 5 attacks on churches and a break-in at a convent school in the capital since December, a shaken Christian community wanted a big dose of reassurance. The Prime Minister's words, as well as promises of punishment of the guilty from Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, were well received.
You ignore those fringe elements. You listen to the Prime Minister and stick to what he says. I have no doubt he will be able to implement what he says. I have no doubt.
At least from what the Prime Minister has said, we can be sure that the Christian community is fully assured that we are not in any way going to face any kind of threats or dangers or risks, but then we are fully part and parcel of the nation as Christians.
Members of the Christian community in India had staged a silent protest and candlelight march in Bangalore earlier this month against the spate of alleged hate crimes against them. Prime Minister Modi's words come as a soothner, at least for now. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
All right, to help us understand and help us read between the lines a little better, we're joined by Mr. Vinod Kumar Sharma, political editor of Hindustan Times. Thank you very much for talking to us. Just to help us understand, I mean, there was a lot of pressure that had been building on the Prime Minister to make a statement about this. He'd called the Delhi Police Commissioner last week and told him after that incident happened at a school, at the Catholic school. So, I mean, this was on expected lines, but the pressure had been building for some time now.
Yes, of course, there is pressure on the Prime Minister, and naturally so. But I don't disagree that the Prime Minister has just reached out to the Christian community. the Prime Minister has made a euphoric statement. He has reminded the people of India that this country has a tradition where all religions are equal, with the state having no religion. He didn't say it in as many words, but the inferences can be easily drawn. And I think I must compliment the Prime Minister for this statement, though it's a trifle late, but as they say, it's better late than never, because this reassurance was expected and it was long overdue from him personally, because he is the Prime Minister of India. He may have won on a partisan vote, but if a Prime Minister is seeking to set aside his ideology to give inclusive governance to this country, then I think he needs to be supported, he needs to be appreciated, and needs to be welcomed. This is a very welcome statement, and I wish him Godspeed actually. And I am deliberately using Godspeed because it's about God that we are discussing here.
Right.
He was under criticism not just from within India, but also in the Western world, that his failure to speak on these issues in as many words could be risky, dangerous, and I'm very happy that he's made this statement today. I hope and I am sure that he'll stick to his promise, and there shall be no gap between intent and action.
All right, but there are a lot of supporters as well. In fact, they might be well-meaning, but some go to, there are fringe elements that often get emboldened by their misplaced sense of ideology. So do you think that message now trickles down to those who've been perhaps behind a lot of the unrest, the communal disharmony that's been seen in spurts across the country?
There was a subtext to the campaign that he ran in the run-up to the Lok Sabha elections, and that subtext has been under criticism. People say that it was a divisive subtext, but there was also a script to his campaign, and that was essentially about inclusive development. And if the Prime Minister today is willing to stand up and be counted, that this is the way forward, that this is the way he can improve the quality of life of all Indians, regardless of what faith they pursue, and they have the right under the Constitution to pursue the faith that they have, which he said in as many words. So I think that as of now, there is no reason for me or any other skeptic to be doubting his intent. I'll only wait for time, and I see that as an Indian and as someone who values secularism, that how it pans out on the ground. And I'm sure that the Prime Minister knows that there cannot be economic development and prosperity and generation of wealth which has to be distributed equitably to all people without a society which is at peace with itself, and that is what he's aiming at, it seems.
So do you think this ends that debate? I mean, there was a debate that happened with that printing of that INB ministry ad on 26th January about the word secular. The Shiv Sena had to jump in and had it.
Well, that has been explained, and I'm
do you think
willing
that
to
this ends all those conversations?
No, I'm willing to accept. You see, I have not sort of minced words in criticizing, including, the Honorable Prime Minister. But here I think that I would cease to be a skeptic for a while, and I'd like to give him a chance to prove himself, and he has to prove himself on this, because he is a person with a strong majority in the Lok Sabha, and I have always believed, like many others, that India can prosper not with the stability of numbers, but with the stability at the level of the society, between communities, between various social groups that at times find themselves pitted against each other for want of more, or in protest against getting less, be it freedom for religion, be it freedom, be it the opportunity to employment, be it the distribution of wealth. So, and I think that, we should not, when a Prime Minister, and he's made a statement, it's not a statement which is extempore, mind you. I'd like to underscore this point. This is a considered written statement.
Right.
And the copy of it is available. No Prime Minister will make this kind of a commitment unless he's thought it through. I have also noted that in the social media there is a barrage of criticism against him by the right-wingers, and I think that those people should also hold their horses and let him do his job. Let us not sit in judgment on these crucial issues of national importance on the Prime Minister, even before we've given him a chance to do what he's promised to do. And I don't think that India can afford any kind of attrition between faiths. We have many. Between gods, we have so many. And between people, we have about 1.25 crores. 1.25 crores.
Right. Yes,
So
on that rather positive
So
note.
that's what I'm saying, that this is a moment to rejoice, and this is a moment to celebrate the equanimity of mind and the truthfulness which belongs to India. That Prime Minister, who may be perceived as someone who doesn't attest the ideology that has been in vogue in India over the past 60 years. Many people have said that this Prime Minister is in a civilizational conflict with the way India has existed for the past 60 years. But today's statement is a ray of hope. I wish him all the well.
All right, on that note, Mr. Vinod Sharma, we'll have to wrap it up. But thank you very much for helping us and come and understand the Prime Minister's statement on such an important issue a little better. Moving on now, amid reports that the political stalemate in Jammu and Kashmir could end soon, the BJP and the PDP leaders admit there are still some issues to be settled between the two parties. The PDP, as reported earlier, has sought consensus on an 11-point common minimum program in the state.
After 15 rounds of negotiations, the BJP and the PDP almost on the verge of signing the deal of forming the coalition government in Jammu and Kashmir. Minister of State in the PMO Jitendra Singh met Jammu and Kashmir Governor Anand Vora on Tuesday, although he called the meeting personal.
This is purely a personal meeting, and there is, as I said, there's a wedding in the family, so I've come over here just to extend an invitation personally. संगठन की ओर से कुछ एक लोगों को अधिकृत किया गया है इस चर्चा के लिए, हमारे लिए उचित नहीं होगा और ये उन्हीं के ध्यान में है, उन्हीं की जानकारी में.
The BJP admits it still has issues with the PDP over some issues. Reports say the PDP is insisting on written assurances on the two ticklish issues of maintaining status quo on Article 370 and the Armed Forces Special Protection Act.
जल्दी से जल्दी इस प्रक्रिया को पूरा करने के प्रयास में हम लगे हैं, पर मैं कोई डेडलाइन इस समय बताने की स्थिति में नहीं हूं. सबसे विचार करके और हमारे साथ जो लोग चलने वाले पीडीपी है उनके भी सारे विचार समझ करके हम दोनों मिलकर एक सही रास्ता निकालने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं.
Meanwhile, taking potshots at the proposed alliance, Congress and other political parties have questioned the delay on the part of both parties in coming to an agreement.
If the PDP and the BJP can come together, this means that the sun can rise from the west. Because on one hand, you have the BJP, which wants Article 370 to be deleted from the Constitution. On the other hand, you have the PDP, which wants to take the state back to the 1952 Delhi Declaration.
A lamb and a wolf can't travel in the same boat. It's not possible, that I know. And I believe that even if under compulsion to gain power in Jammu and Kashmir, PDP and BJP try to form a government, it cannot last long.
PDP Chief Mufti Mohammad Saeed is likely to meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi soon. The final call over the proposed alliance and government formation in the valley is expected to be taken by the Prime Minister. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
On to the political crisis in Bihar, where Janata Dal United President Sharad Yadav suspended 7 ministers from the rival camp led by Chief Minister Jitan Ram Manjhi. The party unit had written to all the 7 ministers to resign on the 2nd of February. They, however, stood by Manjhi and took cabinet decisions that upset the Nitish Kumar camp. Manjhi is supported by 12 MLAs, but his followers claim they have the backing of a larger number of MLAs who they say will help them during the floor test. That's on the 20th of February. Time for a very quick break right now, but on the other side, we'll talk about India and Oman who are looking to strengthen bilateral ties. How? More on that on the other side.
In the Maths Factor, we travel through time and space and see how maths has evolved and how it is a part of the world around us. Join us on Rajya Sabha television. Watch the Maths Factor every Sunday at 8 a.m.
Welcome back. You're watching the news tonight. Now, the Aligarh Muslim University announcing holidays for students till the 25th of February and the centre ordering additional stocks of medicine and N95 masks. The swine flu menace has triggered a flurry of preventive steps. But so far, the measures have had little effect on the number of cases or the casualty figures, with over 100 deaths being reported in the last 3 days alone.
With 100 deaths in the last 3 days, swine flu has claimed 585 lives already this year. The central government is ordering additional medicines and diagnostic kits. 8,423 people contracted swine flu this year. Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra are the worst affected, with death figures of 165, 144, 76 and 58.
मेरे रिश्तेदार हैं, उनको यहाँ पे आए हॉस्पिटल में लेके कि भाई स्वाइन फ्लू है करके, तो भी यहाँ पे बहुत अच्छा फैसिलिटी है और यहाँ पे ट्रीटमेंट सुबह हम 5 बजे आए, उस टाइम से इलाज चालू है और यहाँ पे डॉक्टरों की टीम और मेडिकल फैसिलिटी सब बहुत अच्छा है, कोई भी टाइप का तकलीफ हमको नहीं हुआ है.
Rajasthan reported 12 deaths in these last 3 days. There were 8 fresh casualties each in Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat. While Delhi and Tamil Nadu have reported a high incidence of swine flu cases, the death toll is relatively less, according to doctors, mainly due to a high level of awareness and a better health sector.
जीजाजी हमें रही है और 6-7 दिन से भर्ती हैं. इनका पॉजिटिव आया है रिपोर्ट इनकी जबलपुर से, जब से यहाँ भर्ती हैं, लेकिन आज सुबह वैसे तो धीरे-धीरे इनको आराम लग रहा है.
Punjab has the highest ratio of the number of deaths to those affected by the disease. 25 out of 68 people who contracted the virus this year died of the virus. Health Ministry officials have sent central teams to the worst affected states like Rajasthan and Gujarat. Doctors say there's no need to panic. The World Health Organization calls H1N1 a seasonal virus that is no more contagious or deadly than other flu viruses. It has also not mutated. Get tested for H1N1 if along with the flu symptoms of fever, runny nose, sore throat and congestion you have. Since the virus spreads through droplets expelled when an infected person coughs or sneezes, you can protect yourself from staying away from infected persons, frequently washing hands with soap and cleaning surfaces with disinfectant. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, visiting Sri Lankan President Maithripala Sirisena visited the Mahabodhi temple in Bihar's Bodh Gaya district. Sirisena offered special prayers at the Mahabodhi tree under which Lord Buddha is said to have attained enlightenment. The 1500-year-old Mahabodhi temple is considered a lifetime destination for millions of Buddhists across the world. Sirisena, who didn't speak to the media, is also expected to visit Tirupati in Andhra Pradesh later. The Sri Lankan President is in India on a 4-day state visit, his first trips abroad since winning the presidential elections last month. On to Maharashtra, where the police has launched a massive manhunt for the men who shot at senior CPI leader Govind Pansare and his wife in Kolhapur yesterday. Reports say 20 teams have been formed and Kolhapur police are tracing all known history sheeters in the city, even as teams have been sent out to nearby towns. 5 persons were detained on grounds of suspicion late last evening. Pansare has been a vocal critic of toll tax collections, is said to be recovering, but his condition still remains critical. A bullet hit his neck and another brushed his hand in the attack last morning. His wife has been hospitalized as well. Several leaders and activists have come forward to condemn the attack.
It is a heinous crime. It is violence against political social activists. This should not be allowed, and I urge upon the Maharashtra government to do everything to pin down if Maharashtra government should show its willpower and commitment to uphold law and order.
The state government will take immediate steps to apprehend the culprits and ensure that they are given the harshest punishment possible, so that gruesome events of this nature do not occur again.
More updates from across the country and nationwide now. A soldier of India's border security force, Basant Singh, opened fire on a sleeping personnel allegedly after an argument, killing a head constable at a BSF camp. The incident happened in Malda town in West Bengal. 4 others were injured in the attack that took place this morning. Investigations are on. 7 top leaders of the militant outfit Karbi People's Liberation Tiger have been arrested in a joint operation by the army and police in Assam's Karbi Anglong district. The army said the rebel group's commander-in-chief and his deputy were among the 7 arrested. The group is fighting for a separate state of Karbi Anglong. Intermittent rains continued in Kashmir for the second day as the famous ski resort of Gulmarg experienced fresh snowfall. The Met Department has said that the prevailing disturbance would continue till the 24th of February. Gulmarg also recorded 12 inches of fresh snowfall during the night. Srinagar received 13.8 millimeters of rains and recorded a low of 3.9 degrees Celsius. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj is in Oman, her first bilateral visit to the country. She'll be in the country for 2 days. Sushma Swaraj was invited to the country by her Omani counterpart, Yusuf bin Alawi bin Abdullah, with whom she is slated to hold talks on trade and security, including piracy and cyber crimes. Bilateral trade between India and Oman was around $5 billion per annum. Analysts say it's likely to increase up to $6 billion in the next financial year. But the ceasefire in Ukraine shows disturbing signals of being on the brink of collapse as both rebels and government forces continue shelling in border areas. Both warring sides have also failed to withdraw heavy weapons from the front line as per the Minsk agreement deadline.
Just 48 hours since the ceasefire was implemented, and it's already nearing a total collapse. Skirmishes continue near the strategic town of Debaltseve and in Luhansk. The Monday deadline passed with neither side willing to pull out weapons from the war zone. 5 Ukrainian soldiers were killed. Several others were also injured.
Все будет идти параллельно вместе с украинской стороной. По Минским соглашениям 16 числа мы должны начать отвод вооружения. Но на данный момент и закончил в течение 14 дней.
Умовою для відведення важкого озброєння від лінії зіткнення є виконання першого пункту Мінських домовленостей, а це припинення вогню. 112 обстрілів – це не є показник припинення вогню.
The Organization for the Security and Cooperation in Europe, the monitoring agency for the ceasefire, is still trying to reach Ukraine after the rebels refused access. Top leaders from Germany, Russia and Ukraine held hectic meetings in an effort to hold the truce together.
The mission assesses that the ceasefire is generally holding. However, incidents have been reported and directly observed by the mission, which we have been reported. With regard to the Debaltsevo, we only heard reports of and allegations of incidents and shellings, and it is important that the mission is being granted access to the Debaltsevo tomorrow.
Russian President Vladimir Putin chaired a meeting of Russia's Security Council to discuss the implementation of the Minsk agreement. And as of now, the impasse shows no sign of a let-up from either side. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
More international news in Global Buzz now. Unidentified miscreants vandalized a Hindu temple in Washington state in the US, leaving behind hate messages against the Indian community. Reports said the attackers sprayed the swastika and painted "Get Out" on one of the walls of the temple in Seattle. The temple is one of the largest Hindu temples in the entire Northwest. An investigation is underway. A magnitude 6.9 earthquake struck off the northeastern coast of Japan today, followed by a tsunami alert from the Met Office there. The tsunami advisory was, however, lifted 2 hours later. Reports say the earthquake shook much of northeast Japan, as was felt in Tokyo as well, 690 kilometers away. A train hauling crude derailed in West Virginia in the United States on Monday, causing a massive fire that could be seen miles away. Reports say at least 14 cars were affected and one plunged into the Kanawha River. The train was hauling 109 cars from North Dakota to the coastal town of Yorktown, Virginia. West Virginia Governor Tomlin issued a state of emergency after the derailment. Egypt bombed more Islamic State targets in Libya last night after the terror group released a horrific video purportedly showing the beheadings of 21 Egyptian Christians. The airstrikes have raised concerns across the border, with the Libyan government terming the air raids as an assault on its sovereignty. It accused Cairo of exporting its political crisis abroad. Now, in a special run-up to the budget, today we focus on defence spending. India is one of the largest importers of defence equipments. Now, it's a situation that the government is hoping to change, mainly by focusing its make and buy in India policy. Now, the upcoming defence budget is expected to give shape to the government's intentions by looking to encourage indigenization and modernization of our military equipment.
Currently, we permit 26% FDI in defense manufacturing. The composite cap of foreign exchange is being raised to 49% with full management control, Indian management and control through the FIPB route.
Even without the hike in the FDI cap announced by the finance minister last year, India depends heavily on foreign markets for defense equipment. Domestic equipment is just 30% compared to 70% that's procured from abroad, which is why the upcoming budget is expected to focus on Make in India.
And it's undoubtedly indigenization, I think, goes at the very heart of our defense preparedness. Unless we start making major systems and integrating them at home, we cannot be sure of our defense capabilities overall. And I think the Prime Minister is laying a lot of focus on it.
Defense procurements are a key area where the Defense Minister wants to signal big changes through the budget. In the last 3 decades, India has evolved significant design capabilities, from the missile program to its nuclear propulsion program. The list includes a series of light helicopters, the Tejas light combat aircraft, the Arjun tank, and an array of naval technologies that drive warship building. Then there are safeguarded technologies in electronic warfare, combat management systems, and secure communications. However, CAG is not happy. As it points out, 90% of the systems and subsystems of the Dhruv helicopter are sourced from abroad. The Tejas LCA and the Arjun tank also have high percentage of foreign components. While the warship building program has made indigenization a priority, 60% of the weapons and sensors in most Indian-built warships continue to be sourced from abroad, including in the recently launched aircraft carrier INS Vikrant.
We have two kinds of need. Firstly, the deficiencies must be made up as quickly as possible. In that, money is not the only problem. The procedures need to be straightened out to give confidence to the outsiders who are willing to invest into India in various infrastructure developments. They have to be confident that the country is secure, and of course the procedure should be simplified so that they do not run from pillar to post and hit a wall ultimately.
Currently, there are 17 main companies in India that are into defense manufacturing. They service approximately 12 lakh strong armed forces in what happens to be the 3rd largest army, the 4th largest air force, and the 7th largest navy in the world. The upcoming defense budget has the task of strengthening of all the 3 defense forces with the help of bringing in more and more latest arms and equipments. Many experts feel that the key issue is not indigenization alone, but also the export policies that govern defense equipments. The government has announced its intention to simplify procedures so that more firms can invest in defense manufacturing. While the government continues to be persistent about its Make in India policy, when it comes to indigenization in the defense sector, a lot of questions are raised. With the union budget just round the corner, hopes are high over more and more allocations for indigenization and Make in India in the defense sector as well. Palak Sharma in New Delhi for Rajya Sabha TV.
In news from the Cricket World Cup now, New Zealand survived a minor scare to record their 2nd win of the tournament today, beating Scotland by 3 wickets. New Zealand won the toss and elected to field, putting up a disciplined show to bundle out the Scottish team for just 142. Chasing a low total wasn't completely a one-sided contest though. The Kiwis kept losing wickets at regular intervals. They did get home, but with just 3 wickets to spare, making it a comprehensive but unconvincing win in the end. Williamson top scored for New Zealand with 38 runs. New Zealand also won their last match against Sri Lanka by 98 runs.
Oh, well done. He's dragged him down, and yeah,
Well, that's the news tonight. Good night.